everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a bit of a different video, still bookish related though. I am going to be showing you my 2022 flip through of my reading journal, and also I will be setting up for my 2023. So you've probably seen before, I have featured this journal on I guess some of my reading vlogs, and I've been having a reading journal for maybe about 3 years now. This is the one that I've been using for 2022. As you can see, I barely even used half of it, so I am going to be using the same journal for 2023 as well. Now this is an Archer and Olive notebook. As you can see, here is the little logo. I actually keep this hidden behind here because Leo likes to play with this as I'm journaling, so I've actually had to start hiding this behind here so that he wouldn't be so bothersome whenever it comes to me journaling. But yes, this is an Archer and Olive notebook. I believe this is probably like the third one I've had. I really love these journals. The quality is just amazing. The cover of this is kind of like a felt cover. They always have these really cute designs on them. So I guess moving on to the flip through. Now this journal, at first it was only meant to be for 2022. I really thought that every single book that I was going to read, I was going to dedicate either 1 page or 2 pages for that book, but as you will see, it didn't turn out to be that way. I actually did so much effort at first for one single book, and then eventually I kind of gave up and I started to include more books in a single page. But this is I guess the first page to it, the intro page. And again, because I was only going to dedicate this to 2022, it only says 2022. It does have a couple printouts that I printed out using my printer, and you know, just washi tape, stickers, and paper that I get from the craft store. Again, this is an Archer and Olive, and I just put Reading Bullet Journal 2022. Okay, so moving on. I guess I started to use this as just a page to test. Now, every time that I start a new journal, I always have this to kind of reference on. I use this to reference every time that I need to divide a page. So I just number 1 through 38, and then 1 through 27, and then I go backwards. So this is just for me to reference like the numbers that I need. For example, 19 and 20, this is halfway between a page. So I will use this for that. If I need to divide columns into 2s, 3s, or 4s, I already kind of know how many dots is going to require for each. And then same way, vertical and then horizontal. So this is very useful here. If you have a reading journal, I would suggest you could take a screenshot of this because it's helped me so much. I don't have to, you know, divide and count every time that I'm going to work on a page. I could just turn to here and I already know how much I need to count for each individual space. And then moving on, this is my 2022 reading goal. So my reading goal was to read 55 books, and I just made 55 squares. Of course, I completed this goal. I read about 71, and so all of this is filled out. On this following page, I started doing a library card where I would put the date started of the book and then the date finished. So I really love this idea. It's something that I have been able to keep up with. All I did was just put the author on top, borrower's name, and then I kind of have to change it a little bit. I believe the borrower's name goes here and the title goes here because each individual card will go on one library book. But I did it to where I can write the title of each book here. So I just put issued. This is the first date where I first started it. And of course, issued is, you know, in reference to the library card. And returned, this is the date that I finished the book. So of course, I needed more than one. So you will see later on, I did make more, but this is just the first one that I made as I was preparing for this reading journal. Now here is my little library in terms of all the books that I read. The key is here. So I had a color coding key for the type of book that I was reading. So this is for ebooks, physical, audio, and what I would do was basically just write the title of the book and then color code it to whatever format I read it in. So here is the additional 2 library cards that I made for the books that I was reading. I kind of changed the colors up a little bit, but nothing changed in terms of how I set it up. This is the second library card that I had to make, and then this is a third. All right, so this spread was my A to Z challenge. I almost did it. I still needed to finish J, Q, X, and Z, which are, you know, pretty tough to fill out the X and the Z. Now, I wasn't actively trying to fill this out. I was just basically reading, and as I was reading books, I would fill them out if anything filled the requirements. And then here I was supposed to read a whole bunch of Book of the Month books. As you can see, I have so many that I haven't read yet, but these are the few that I did get to read. So I basically just marked them off. I should have more of these filled out. I really need to read more of my Book of the Month books. For Book of the Month, every year they have like their own little reading challenges, and I was supposed to put like the badges here, but you know, considering the fact that I didn't really read that many, I was not able to fulfill any badges. So all I did was just put the logo and then a couple of the winter stickers that they give out every year in their boxes. And then this here, Book of the Month, this is where I put all of the titles that I chose for that month. So for January, I skipped February, I skipped April, June, August, October, and November. So I didn't really get that many Book of the Month books here. I did get 2. I also got 2 here, but this is kind of where I, you know, just kept up with the books that I was getting. Now this one was a really fun one. This is my book battle. So every month I would put my top book of that month. I kind of skipped. So I skipped January and then February, March, April. This is supposed to be May, June, and then I continued. Where did it go? Where's July? July. So basically it's all over the place. I think for the 2023, I am going to either do January, February, March, April, and so on. But basically, this is all out of order, but that's okay. So for every favorite book of the month, I did put them here, and then I kind of made them go against each other. So out of Verity and the Hacienda, I did like Verity best. Out of Verity and the Maid, I did like Verity best. And then here are the top 3. And out of those top 3, my number 1 pick for the year was American Royals. So this is really fun to make. And then in terms of like deciding which one was my favorite, I did have a hard time with some of them. For example, here, Strange the Dreamer and Rock, Paper, Scissors are 2 books that I really loved. But of course, Strange the Dreamer, I hold this book dear to my heart. And then when it came to here, it was so hard, guys. Like, honestly, Strange the Dreamer could have won, but I figured because this was a reread, I really just needed to keep it between these 2. So yeah, this is really fun to make. I would really highly encourage anybody do so. The setting up of this was a bit complicated. I really wanted to just have like 2 at the end, but there being 12 months in a year, you know, that's kind of impossible. But I guess this is like the best setup that I would come up with. And yeah, here's the book battle. And I will be including this in my 2023 as well. So up next, I just have all of the titles that I read for the year of 2022, starting with the Poppy War. I do have a stencil with a star that I used to kind of draw the stars here. I didn't do much decor in terms of this page, which I might just add like little stars, you know, every here and there. But this is all of the books that I read. I really enjoy seeing all the titles. The feeling of accomplishment in terms of me seeing all of the titles that I read. I loved having this spread here. Here I kind of messed up a little bit, but that's okay. And then I do still have to fill out the stationery shop. But other than that, it's pretty completed. I apologize if you hear noise in the background. By the way, that's Leo. He's playing. So he's playing with his favorite toys, but I figured it's best for him to be out there playing than here in the middle of the video. But yes, so here are all the titles I read. So that is it in terms of all of the trackers for the year of 2022. And here's where I start to log all of the monthly spreads. Again, you will see the effort go down, like the beginning of the year. So for these spreads, I did so much effort. I took so much time to making this, and then it just kind of went downhill from there. I would include a title page for all of the months, and then I also had my days read. So I make boxes for each day of the month, and then I would fill it in if I read that day. I used to have my days read physical, days read audio, and then days read ebook, and I used to actually fill in every single one of them, but I found that that was too much work, so I condensed it into one single one. So if I read in that specific day, whether it was ebook, physical, or audio, I would just fill it in. And then here is where I started to make, you know, one page for each book, and you know, this is again all the effort that I was making, and I was really just trying to make each spread individual and unique. Here is a little flap where I was including more information. I really loved this month in terms of the work that I did for the month of January. I did enjoy making all of this, but it does take a lot of work. I do want to go back to including one book per page, but maybe not as much effort. Maybe I'll just make each individual. As you can see, I stuck to one individual theme, and I think that was putting a lot of pressure as well in terms of how the spreads would go. So I'm thinking I'm going to keep doing the same thing in terms of including 1 to 2 books per page, but just not as thought out. I guess I will have like each individual theme in terms of the mood for that book. But this is it for January. Moving on to February. So I had a lot of fun with this one. Again, I had each individual theme for each month, which I don't think I'm going to continue doing that for 2023, to be honest. I might just have a little cover page, but I don't think I'm going to stick to one single theme for the whole month, because like I said, it is a lot of pressure and it's just a lot of work. So this month's theme, I stuck to the little sweet tart candies. I forgot what they're called. I think they're called Sweet Tart. And these candies are pretty known in Valentine's Day season. They're not delicious at all, but I had a little like cutout stamp, and I basically just grabbed construction paper and cut out a whole bunch of hearts, stuck them on, and then I used a red pen to put a whole bunch of cute little messages on there. So here again, you can see the days read, and then I continued on with the theme in terms of completing all of the books. Here I just have this random page. I might just put a quote on there, but consider this incomplete for now. Moving on to March. So I do think in one of my vlogs I was working on this one. I will link any vlog that I have the journal, you know, kind of featured. I will link down below if you want to check them out. But this is my birthday month. Again, sticking to that little greenery theme. This is where I start to just kind of put a whole bunch of books in one page. I really needed to keep up, and it wasn't something that I was picking up every day. So yeah, this is kind of where it fell through. Moving on to, wow, skipping a whole bunch of months. So April, May are non-existent. That is okay. If you saw my reading stats, you will know that April and May were like my worst reading months, because I did start a new job and it was really draining. And this is also around the time when I didn't feel like taking out all of my journaling supplies just to journal and then put them away. So yes, again, April and May skipped. This is June. Some of the ideas, by the way, like for example, this whole fish and the color scheme, this is not my idea. This is actually my recreation of Amanda Rach Lee. She is the bullet journal queen here on YouTube. So yes, like for example, the January spread, I grabbed this completely out of the internet. I am in no means an artist, but I am pretty good at mimicking. So here is my June, and here is Leo trying to make an appearance. Okay, so this is June. These are the days read. I read every day of this month. And then here are, a couple more spreads of the book. This is July. Again, this is a recreation of one of Amanda's themes. Here is August. This is probably my least favorite, to be honest, but I was really just trying to catch up, and I was using whatever I had, and I had this watermelon paper that if I didn't use it for this, I wasn't going to use it at all. And then this blue paper is like gift paper. But yeah, this is probably my least favorite, to be honest, but that's okay. Here, I don't even know what happened. I guess I just filled it in and I didn't even put any color to it, but yeah. Okay, so this is actually supposed to say September. I don't know why I put August. I don't know. I guess I was really stressed out at the time. This is probably one of my favorite ones. My favorite color is purple, and I really loved how this turned out. I really wanted to go for that lo-fi anime vibe, comfy room. And yeah, this is what I went for. I used purple and hearts. And again, I couldn't be bothered to, fix that. So I literally just wrote September up at the top. Yes, this is some of the books that I was reading in that month. And this, I had to dedicate a whole page to the American Royal series. I, wrote a little bit about how much this series means to me and how much I loved it, and wrote some quotes from some of the books. And there is a 4th book coming out, but the cover isn't out yet or anything, so I just reserved this for the first 3. In terms of filling this out, I didn't fill out Paper Girls because really there's no quotes or anything that I could really fill in for that. The same goes for Deserter by Junji Ito. There was really nothing that I could fill out for that either. Okay, so we are coming to the end. These are just some of the last spreads for some of the last books. And here is where I included my reading stats. I will link that video down below as well, where I talked about all of the graphing for my 2022 reading year. All I did was print these out and pasted them on my journal so that I could look back on this. And that is it. So I'm going to start setting up my 2023 reading journal, starting with the goodbye page for 2022. As you can see, I did pencil in everything, so all I need to do is just outline, because it would be a lot of work to do everything in camera. So I will be doing that and then kind of talking about it in a little bit. So enjoy this montage of me just, journaling.
Dream I
Okay, so I think this is all I'm gonna do for the title page. I'm pretty happy with it. All of this white space, I feel like I could have filled out better, but you know, the simplicity of this here, kind of centering it on the 2023, I think it looks good. So yes, this is the title page. Moving on to the next page. Now this here, it is not my idea at all. I just discovered this new booktuber and I recently saw her setup of her 2023 journal and I loved how she did this spread here. So this is not my idea. I will link her video and her channel down below because I don't know her name really. Like I said, I just discovered her, but I will link her down below to give her the credit. But this is just my remake of that. If you want to take a look at her video, please do so. And yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start outlining and coloring and some stuff. Okay, so this is now done. I will later make the keys, so I will choose 3 colors that I want to do for the whole spread. Last year, 2022, I did read mostly audio, so whatever color I like best or the color that I want it to stand out, I'll probably use for audio. So this is a spread that I carried over from here, a spread that I really enjoy doing, so yes, this is it. Again, this is not my idea. I will link the original down below. Moving on to the next. This is just going to be my read 80 books in 2023. I'm going to go ahead and do this now. Okay, so this is the tracker where I'm going to be coloring in every circle for every book that I read. My goal for 2023 is to read 80 books. I've been using squares ever since I started journaling because of the bullet journal, like the nature of it. I would just use squares, and I figured I'm kind of tired of that, so I did a whole bunch of little circles to kind of just give it a little bit something different. So I kind of like how this turned out. I was not expecting to use a whole bunch of red, but I'm really embracing the color. I really like how it's starting to look. So I will be using this one to fill in the circles, and I don't think I'm going to be numbering them. I'm just going to leave them blank. And if I feel like I need to add anything else, I would definitely will. But so far, this is how it's going to look. So moving on to the next one, these are going to be my reading goals. Okay, so reading goals page is also done. A bit of my reading goals, of course, the read 80 books. I do also want to read 5+ classics. Number 3, I want to read more manga. 4, read more translated books from other languages into English. And the number 5 is read 5+ nonfiction. And then here is my little A through Z. This is something that I did also last year, and I really enjoyed it. It's like a little challenge. So anytime that I fulfill a letter where the book title begins with that letter, I will write it down here. I really like this. I like the simplicity of it, and I like how the clear colors and the light pink go. I think the major decoration is in the page itself. So yeah, reading goals done. Next page is the book battle. Okay, so this is all that I'm going to do for the book battle page. Not much to work with really, because the whole thing is basically covered. But I am going to be using like a light blue on here. I added some washi to just kind of give it a little bit of color. But once I start filling it in, it'll look much better. So this is the book battle page. Next step is going to be my monthly favorites. Okay, so this is all that I'm going to do for the monthly favorites so far. I'm kind of running out of ideas. My creative juices are not flowing quite as much anymore. But I am thinking of maybe putting something on this corner here. And then I will be putting the book covers of the books here as well. So I went ahead and just fill out the months. But so far, I'm thinking this is all that I'm going to do for this one. By the way, everything that I'm putting on my journal, I just printed out. I found images on Canva, printed them out from there. So I'm kind of running low, and I can't find a lot of things that really go good with this color scheme. So I'm going to leave it like this for now. I'm going to move on to 23 and 23. Now, if you haven't watched that video, I will link it down below. I did look up and did my own research for 23 books that will be released this year that I'm interested in. So still, I wanted to put a little spread here dedicated to that. So this one should be done pretty quickly. I did already print out the covers. I just need to cut them out, paste them, and then this one will be ready. To me, love isn't pain, I can't explain it. You make me do things I would never do. Acting like we're inside a movie. So kiss me before you go. I don't know. Let's say goodbye. It keeps hiding how I feel. A sentence is running. Okay, so this is it for my 23 and 23. Again, these are all of the books that I'm looking forward to reading in the year of 2023. I really love this washi tape and I really wanted to use it in one of these spreads. I figured I would use it on this one because I don't need much decoration. Again, everything is being taken up by the book covers itself, so I think this is good for this. Next up are the little library cards that I will be using. This time I did put 3 in a row, so hopefully that'll be enough, but I'm gonna go ahead and make these real quick and then moving on to the book of the month afterwards. Okay, so I'm done with the library cards. I did a purple, a light pink one, a blue one, and then I did my book of the month spread. So all I did is put some gray outlines here. I'm thinking of, as I'm reading them, maybe just writing down the titles and maybe putting like a little check mark, but I don't want to fill this in like I did last time because it was, you know, basically a fail. So I think I'm just gonna write them down as I'm reading them. After this, I just outlined the spread where I'm going to put all the book covers for every book that I read. So that's just going to look like this. It's going to be plain and simple. All I did is number them so that I can make sure I have enough pages for the 80 books that I plan to read. So I did plan enough to put 90 just in case. And then after that, it is empty. It is all ready for me to be creative and fill that out. It is basically going to be it in terms of finishing up my 2023 setup. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video. If you want to support me but don't know how, you can comment a flower down below. And also let me know if you have a reading journal. If you don't, let me know if you are interested in having a reading journal. Please remember to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed. If you've been enjoying my content so far, subscribe. I do have more content coming up. Again, thank you guys so much for watching and I will see you in the next one.